What's the most dramatic way you've seen a party end? My engagement party was perfect. The flowers, the food, my parents beaming with pride. The only problem was I was in love with the caterer. In my community, your life path is basically paved for you before you can walk. You go to the right schools, you join the right clubs, and you marry the right person. James was the right person. Our families had been friends for generations. He was kind, stable, successful. Our engagement wasn't a question of if, but when, and I had agreed to it all because that's what was expected. It was easier to follow the map than to admit I was completely lost. The map didn't have a route for someone like me, for someone who had fallen in love with Alex. Alex, who had their own catering business. Alex, who had a crooked smile and paint permanently under their fingernails. Alex, who saw me in a way James never could. Our relationship was a secret, stolen moments in their tiny apartment that smelled like garlic and turpentine. It was the only place I felt real, but back in my world, I was playing the part of the happy fiancé. The engagement party was the grand finale of my performance. 200 people, all the pillars of our community, gathered in my parents' sprawling backyard to celebrate a future I didn't want. I felt like a ghost in my own life. I was wearing a white dress, smiling for photos, accepting congratulations. But my eyes kept darting to the catering tent where Alex was plating appetizers, their face a mask of professional neutrality. I could feel their presence like a magnetic pull. Then came the speeches. My father talked about tradition and legacy. James's father talked about uniting two great families. Then James took the microphone. He looked at me, his eyes full of a genuine affection I knew I could never return. He talked about our future, our children, about growing old together, and with every word, the walls closed in. The crowd was awing. My mother was dabbing her eyes. They were all watching me, waiting for my happy, tearful response. This was the moment. The final door was closing. I could walk through it into a life of comfortable misery, or I could set the whole thing on fire. I looked at James's hopeful face. Then I looked over at the tent and I saw Alex for just a second look at me with an expression of such profound love and pain that it broke my heart. And I knew I couldn't do it. My whole body was trembling when I took the microphone. I turned to James. My voice was surprisingly steady. James, you are a wonderful person. You deserve someone who can love you completely. I took a deep breath. But I can't marry you because I'm in love with Alex, I pointed. Not vaguely, but directly at Alex, who was standing frozen by the dessert table holding a silver tray of pastries. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. It was a physical sound, like the wind being knocked out of 200 people at once. James just stared at me, his face utterly blank with shock. Then he dropped his champagne glass. It shattered on the stone patio, the sound echoing in the dead silence. My father stood up so abruptly his chair scraped backward. He yelled my name, a roar of pure fury. Alex, bless them, dropped the entire tray of pastries. It clattered to the ground, a mess of cream and broken porcelain. Everything after that was a blur, shouting, crying, my mother collapsing into a chair. I walked off the stage, through the stunned crowd, straight to Alex. I took their hand, which was covered in powdered sugar. I didn't look back. We left that night with nothing but the clothes we were wearing. My parents haven't spoken to me in 3 years, but every morning, Alex brings me coffee in bed.